Hello, Namaskar everyone. Welcome to Dhvaani, which means sound in Hindi. We bring to you resonating sounds created by the actions of women innovators, leaders, experts, and entrepreneurs who are making a difference in their and others' lives. We share their stories to inspire and empower other women. Dhvani is an initiative of Innoberry, which is offering a platform for the women to voice their thoughts, struggles, challenges, achievements, highs and lows, and the journey that they have undertaken. I am Pooja Bhatia, a tech transfer, patent licensing, and intellectual property professional, and now your host for this show. Let's inspire and get inspired. Hi, hello everyone. Today we are walking down the memory lane with Rishu Srivastava. She is currently working as Senior Associate Director at Duke-NUS Medical School, Singapore. She is not just well versed in IP, but also in regulatory affairs. Welcome, Rishu. I'm really happy to walk down with you over this episode and talk about your internship experience. Welcome today.
Thank you, Pooja. It's so nice to be here and so glad to be speaking with you today.
So my generally first question is that, where you were trained, at which
Okay,
batch, which year, so, we could set the history right.
sure. So it was donkey years ago. I think I was the sixth batch. Yes, I was in the sixth batch and it was year 2010. Yeah.
Okay.
So and
And
then after, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
no, please complete.
Yeah, no, I was going to say that for my training per se, I was attached with S Rana and Company. That was back then a boutique law firm. They are a very big firm now. But back then it was a very small firm, I think 20, 25 odd people, including paralegals and admin staff and few lawyers. Yeah.
So, since you were trained at a law firm, how were your learnings? What did you learn there?
Yeah, so the experience there with SS Rana and Company, I was very fortunate because since the beginning, they did not treat me as an intern or as a trainee. You know, some of the organization where you go and if they see you are a trainee and you wouldn't be with them for a very long time, they'll probably give you random work like the
Yeah.
application is complete, you why don't you go and take a look, or this is what we are going to submit with the patent office, sees everything if everything is in order. But from day one, with Mr. Vikrant Rana was a partner back then. I think he still is a managing partner. He
Mm.
treated the intern. I was second intern there. Before me, there was another TIFAC trainee who had done her training, and then I was the second one. But from day one, I was treated as a part of the firm. So, and I was given a lot of time and opportunity to learn because till then only I had information on the, like no practical information to, so to say, just what we had learned in the classroom for a month, whereas I was exposed to different forms of IP and different type of IP. But what is it? How is it implemented? How is it put to use? Where do we use it? How do we use it? What is all the background works that goes into putting a patent application or filing a patent application that I did not know. So the firm had a small patent department. There was a one patent agent and one paralegal. So I used to be with them. But Mr. Rana would take, like, personally train me, I would say. Like, I wasn't just parked in a department and then I wasn't just showing my face to him once a week. But he would take a lot of interest in teaching, and then from the very beginning it was clarified that if I do well, first I was given the opportunity to do well, and then it was clarified that if I do well I would be absorbed in the company. So I tried with that. That was always the intention, that was always the motivation. And they were mostly into prosecution. A lot of applications were incoming, meaning a national phase application. So I
Mm-hmm.
had a very, very strong grip on how to prepare this set, which would go to the patent office. And back then, the e-filing wasn't a thing, which now is. So you had to prepare
Yeah.
every document, like take out the printout and see everything has, like, there's something which have to be supplied in duplicates, submitted in duplicates, and what is the fee, and what is the difference in fee if you are changing from, say, individual to the company. So all those things with respect to patent application and industrial design application. And when the patent agent would go for hearing, she would also take me. So
Okay.
I would sit and absorb a lot of things that came in handy after a year when I appeared for the patent agent examination. And with all modesty, I would like to share with everyone that I topped the patent bar examination in 2011. My All India ranking was number one. So that had to do a lot with the training and the opportunity that I got at SS Rana and Company.
Yeah, so I would say that your foundation was set perfectly right by Vikrant. He
Yeah.
allowed you to set a bar for yourself and then break it. So that has helped you, isn't it?
Yes, that did help a lot.
So besides these learnings, like there are always few other habits and perspectives that we pick up during our internship. So was there anything else that you picked up from
Oh, yeah.
Vikrant?
So, yes, from him and Miss Lucy Rana, who also
Mm,
happens to be Vikrant's wife. And
yeah,
she was running the firm, and she used to be with Panasonic before. So she has brought in all the ethic and work culture from there and implemented in this office. The office was very small. Like I said, it was 25 people. It could have gone either way.
yeah.
And for me, it was my first proper job. I had done a few odd jobs before, but this was the proper entry into the legal world, into an organization, into a firm, so to say, a company. And from day one, small things like showing up for work on time, or coming up appropriately dressed, or if there are certain conflicts, how to resolve those conflicts, who to approach, when to approach, and knowing who to approach when. Those are the basic things that you pick up in your job that goes on a long way. In fact, even till now, I people ask me what are the two things. If you have to highlight your about yourself, what are the two things that would be? And
Hmm.
trust me, subject knowledge or technical knowledge, expertise, everyone has. But what sets you apart is the communication skill and the interpersonal skill. So I moved to Singapore after a few years, and then this is a melting pot of culture, so to say. There are people from different background, different cultural setting, religious setting, ethnicity, or different gender. But if you have your foundation set and if you are very clear, as far as the communication is concerned or interpersonal skill is concerned and how to resolve conflict, you can survive and you can thrive. I would say not only survive, but you would thrive. So those are the two very important things that I picked up there, and that has helped me till date.
Well, I'm also curious to know, Rishu, since you said that, they had set a bar for you and you had to break it. So were you finally absorbed after completion of 1 year with
Yes, I stayed
SSR?
there. Yes, I
Okay.
stayed there. I think that was the shortest interview. I had the shortest interview in the firm. So after my training, they called me in the office, and till then, I don't think the results were out yet. Or maybe it was.
Okay.
I can't remember now. And they called me, and I was yet to sit down. And Vikrant, sir, I still call him sir. He asked me, "Do you want to work here or not?" I'm like, "Yeah, of course, why not?" Done. That's it. No questions asked. Of course, they knew what I was capable of and what I could do, and I stayed there. I was absorbed there. I stayed till 2014. I only moved because I was relocating to Singapore, and I joined as a trainee. And I take a lot of pride in saying that when I left the firm in 2014, I was the head of the department. I was leading a team of two patent agents, few associates, and some paralegals. And then I did do a lot of work as well in growing the firm from a 25 people team to 100 plus. And
Wow.
then they moved from a very small office setting. They used to run their office from their apartment. Not like they weren't living there, but they had two places. Their home was on the first floor and the office was on the ninth floor or so. So from there they moved to proper office, and now they are doing exceptionally well.
That is really wonderful to know, that how they brought in a change for you and how you have supported them in their journey. So now I would like to know what was next for you. So since you relocated to Singapore, uh, what did you plan to do at that point of time?
Yeah, so I moved here so after I resigned in June of 2014, I moved because I was getting married and my husband was working as a research fellow with the National University of Singapore. And then when I moved there for a few more months, I continued working remotely for SS Rana and Company. There were a lot of work besides the actual active prosecution. There were a lot of other works as well that I did. And by December, I was with the firm, and then I realized it was a bit difficult, you see, because if you're prosecuting applications and if you have to go and appear before the controller to defend, all of that wasn't possible. So we parted ways on a very mutual friendly terms. And then I started looking for opportunities here. Back then, there was one few things I was very clear about. And one of that was that I wouldn't be working with a law firm again. I had a very
ऐसा क्यों?
I had a very bad experience when I interviewed here with a law firm. I'm not going to name them. So I interviewed, they wanted to absorb me, all of that is fine. But they said a few things. For instance, they were trying to give me peanuts. They were thinking that I'm coming from India and they assumed that I would be willing to work for any salary because I was looking for a job. And that was still okay. I would have accepted a lower package, but then they said things like, oh, we had a bad experience with Indian when they come, especially female, they have to go back home and they have to cook and look after family, so they want to leave early. And there are days when people are expected to stay back, but usually females would be, no, I have to go back home, I have to look after my kids, I have to prepare food. And then I realized, first of all, this gentleman was very, very biased. He had a lot of prejudices, and he is trying to lowball me, in the sense trying to pay me low, and he's in his mind, he is already, just like, he's trying to come up with all the justification as to why I should be paying her low. And then the preconceived notion that Indians are this, like they would go back home, they'll cook for your husband or blah blah. I'm like, okay, I'm not working here. And if this is how people usually are, I'm not working in the law firm. But people are not like that. They're like really nice people here. He just was probably a very old
An
gentleman
exception.
stuck in his way. And then the second thing is, because I knew my husband would be in a university settings always, so maybe I try and see if there was anything. I did not know what tech transfer meant back then. In my mind, I thought, oh, it's just prosecuting patent application, and then I have already done that. How difficult it would be. And so then in February following year, that is in 2015, NUS was setting up a tech transfer office in Duke NUS. The Duke NUS is a you can say is a joint venture between Duke University of North Carolina and the National University of Singapore here. Duke NUS is the only graduate medical school in Singapore. So they were setting up their tech transfer office here. They had already identified a person who they were going to hire. She was in with Berkeley University before. She had a very good tech transfer experience. So my boss back then, she had only the approval to hire two people, and she had already identified this tech transfer person. So she thought maybe we bring in a patent person who has enough knowledge about the patent prosecution and everything, and then we let these two people cross learn from each other. That is, the idea was that I would teach the other colleague everything about patents, and she would teach everything to me about tech transfer. And that is what happened. I We learned from each other, and then the office grew, and we have a lot of colleagues now, all tech transfer professional, and I have been with them since then. So next year I would be getting long service award in Singapore. With NUS, they have a policy every fifth year. Like if you complete 5 year, you get something. If you get complete 10 year, you get something. They recognize your contribution. So overall, I have more than 15 years of work experience now, with 4.5 years of experience in working with a law firm, and then close to 10 years of working experience with the tech transfer office.
So I should congratulate you beforehand, right? I don't know if I'll be meet. We'll have a chance to congratulate you next year. So congratulations in advance, and I wish you
Thanks,
many,
Pooja.
many more achievements and awards.
Thank you.
So, what is it that you like about working in both? You have worked with the patents and now you're also working with tech transfer. So, what aspect of both do you like?
Yeah. I like, so yes, so one thing that is common in both tech transfer office as well as the law firm, there is never a dull day. I mean, there is always a lot of incoming work. There will always be something new, a lot of opportunity to learn. But both have their own set of challenges. With a law firm, because I was a fresher then, B, I had a lot of the partners there, the team there, the company itself was putting in a lot of faith in me, and I was free, meaning I was not married, I did not have kids, I had all the time in the world, so I could invest a lot of time, so to say, and it was and it was coming from within. Not that I was forced to stay back and work late, but I used to work very like till late. I was the first person to reach office. I used to work till 7:30, go back home, have my dinner, and would start working again. Also, I was preparing for my exam, so I used to put in extra time. When then I joined the tech transfer office here, and I just had another set of challenges. Like I told you, it was a small office, only two people looking after the work of the entire school. And then I was newly married, and then I had my kids, and my kids are only 2 years apart. So for the first 3 years, I was either pregnant or with a baby. I did struggle initially coming back to work for any female. I'm sure Pooja, you would have experienced the same. It was a bit difficult, but fortunately for me, I think I have been very, very fortunate in this regard that I have always had good bosses. So the boss here, she understood that I am going through changes in my personal life, and then I was given a lot of leeway, so to say. That here I would be the last person to show up for work and first person to leave for the first few years. But it did help me in the sense the confidence that the bosses had put in me gave me a lot of self motivation and confidence, so to say. I have liked the job at both the places. I've liked working at both the places. Here, if I can tell you a bit about the school, we have four signature research program: cardiovascular and metabolic disorders, cancer and stem cell, emerging infectious diseases, neurobiology, and health sciences. So we get applications from all these five departments. And as you see, these are quite varied. There's a lot of different kind of work that we do every day. So my job here is, in a nutshell, if I have to explain it to you, is to go out, meet the researchers, understand what the technology is, and see if there it is worth filing patent for, worth protecting, and if yes, then what is the commercial way forward? Meaning, would there be takers in the industry for this kind of technology? So we do this, we do the assessment, and if it is worth filing, we reach out to the lawyers. We have a panel of lawyers from which we can choose from. We work together with them, file draft an application, file, and then I reach out to the industry partners, pharmaceutical industries or startup, and see if this can be licensed. So every day is different. Every technology is different. If you have been working for a long time, you tend to know few researchers more than the others, and then the researchers would reach out to you. And if you have devised a commercial strategy before, you would know where this would head to. Like if this is coming from this department or this researcher, what would be the usual path for that? And then as eventually you stay in the organization for a longer time, you of course tend to get involved in a lot of management related issues as well, which I did at both the places. And so you see, besides from your usual day job, there's everything else that you do, which I find quite satisfactory. And yeah, I have a lot of autonomy here as well. I can take decision, and then I have that confidence from the bosses that even if you're doing something wrong, go ahead. We will bear the brunt for it. So it has been nice, so good so far.
And I would say the hidden thing that I got from your conversation is that, having a supportive boss, somebody
Yes.
who's willing to train you, is very, very useful to set that foundation, like Vikrant did for you or for the bosses now that you're working with. And also, there would be challenges, there would be changes in your lives. That anything can change anytime. So
Mhm.
any change, despite any changes, be willing to face those challenges and move forward, learn from them, and you will reach where you want to reach, right?
Yeah, especially for us females, you see, I mean, with all due respect to equality and everything, we do go through a lot. Like for our male counterparts, if they are having babies versus we are having babies, they will get 1 week of maternity paternity leave or all of that, and they will be back, and they can start from where they left. Whereas for us, we go through a lot of changes emotionally, physically, psychologically. The baby was part of us. And then once you deliver it, you can't show up for work within a week. Even after your maternity leave, if you show up, it takes a lot of courage, A, and B, to bring yourself mentally there. It is not an easy decision to make. Even if you are highly ambitious, it's not an easy decision to make that, oh, my baby can stay at home and I'll go for work. For instance, I resumed work after my first one, 4 months after he was born. So I couldn't pump milk, so I couldn't save breast milk. I have to move them to combination, both breast milk and the formula milk. And if you pick up the formula pack, even on the pack it says it is advisable that the baby be fed mother's milk. You see the kind of guilt that we go through.
Yeah.
It's not easy. It's very, very challenging, very, very difficult. So when they say you need a village to raise a baby, you do need a village, and that village is everybody, your husband, your family, and if you're working, your team, your bosses. A lot of my projects were parked with my colleague when I left, and they were high profile projects coming from the PIs who have nature and science publication. I wasn't very sure whether my colleague would pass that back to me because he had taken that project from stage A to B. I joined at this stage much later, where the project is probably going to reach C and it would be commercialized. And if the project get commercialized and you do a licensing deal, it's a big achievement for any TDM. My colleague passed on the project back to me. He did not say, "Oh, I've nurtured the project. Now this is mine. I'll go and do the licensing deal." So you have to have that kind of environment and that kind of support. I had my fair share of challenges, but I would say that those challenges were nothing in terms when you compare them with the support that I got from the team here and in India as
Well, I'm really happy for you that you got such support. And I wish every woman in this world gets that support
well.
so that they can get back to the work or doing whatever they wanted to do.
Exactly. And then you are setting, if you are a good person and setting a precedence, tomorrow, if I reach there, if the people under me who have facing through challenges, I would understand where they are coming from and what is the help that they need and how is it that we can support them. So in my team, one of the member is going to deliver very soon, and she asked for 6 months leave, paid, unpaid. Everybody, all of us, we said, yes, we are fine with it. You go ahead. See, and even after 6 months, if you don't want to come, it is fine. We understand.
So
So,
it's all about the culture, how what
yes,
policies you build in, how do you support.
yeah.
So that's
And
the
pay
main
forward,
part.
so to say. If people have helped you,
Yeah.
you be the same person. Pay it forward. And if they have not helped you, you understand the challenges and then tell yourself that I'm not going to be this person who didn't help. I am going to be somebody different.
Yeah, who's going to support?
Yeah.
So yeah, I take this point as the ending point, for the interview, that whatever you have learned and gained in your journey, it's very, very essential that you pass it on to the next
Mm,
generation. So
exactly.
through these series of Memoria, we are trying to do the same, trying to share the experiences and learnings we have got from the scheme that we have been trained in, and support other women entrepreneurs and also young women who want to get into this field of IP. It is a fascinating field. Please do get yourself involved in it. And thank you, Rishu, so much for sparing time
Problem.
and joining me today. And I hope to
No
have you
problem at
again.
all. Sure. And in case if you receive any query from anyone, please feel free to forward it to me. I'll be glad to help them in any way I can.
Absolutely. So please add in your questions, comments. If you want to connect with her, I'll be adding her LinkedIn page details so you can connect. Or you could just send me the questions. I will forward it to her. Thank you once again. See you
Thanks,
soon.
Pooja. Thank you all. Bye.
Bye bye.